So if you're moving to South Louisiana and Baton Rouge feels a little busy for you, but you don't necessarily want to live in the middle of nowhere, Gonzales might be what you're looking for. Let's check it out. In this video, I'm going to give you a glimpse at what it looks like to live in Gonzales, Louisiana. Here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to look at the location, then the community and the lifestyle. We're going to talk about the schools. We're going to talk about affordability, and then we're going to get into the job market and the infrastructure and growth. So let's dive right in. And before we do that, just a quick little plug. I'm Shaun Ramos, and this is Living in Louisiana, where we talk about everything you need to know when it comes to what it's like moving to or living in the greater Baton Rouge area. And as much as I do love making these videos for you guys, what I really love is to help you with your real estate needs. So shoot me a text, shoot me a quick email if you're thinking about making the move, or just if you have any questions, happy to help in any way I can. Okay, first a little bit about the location. Gonzales, Louisiana is located in Ascension Parish, just on the other side of Prairieville. So when you're coming from Baton Rouge on I-10, it's Baton Rouge, Prairieville, then Gonzales. I think Gonzales is perfect for the commuter who works in Baton Rouge but doesn't want to live in Baton Rouge. On average, it's about a 30-minute commute to get to Baton Rouge. And obviously that depends on where you're going in Baton Rouge. Could be shorter, it could be longer. And if you head the other direction, you're about an hour from New Orleans. But in Gonzales, you have really easy access to I-10 and also Airline Highway, both of which will take you into Baton Rouge. Now, when it comes to the community and the lifestyle, I would describe Gonzales as a friendly, diverse town. If you're a foodie, you might like to hear that this is considered the jambalaya capital of the world. But if you're not from here and you don't even know what jambalaya is, you'll be a fan of it once you get here and try it. And there are a lot of community events that go on here and a lot of cool parks. I'm actually at Jambalaya Park right now. And Jambalaya Park's really cool. There's a big amphitheater, public pools, and a splash pad. They've got a playground, a dog park, and even a butterfly garden. And right down the street is Kids Cove Discovery Park. And that's a really cool one. They say their mission is to create a space for children of all abilities to play and interact with one another in a safe environment. And you've also got some really good shopping and entertainment. Tanger Outlet Mall is a big shopping destination. They've got a ton of stores in there. I couldn't even really tell you which ones. The only ones I ever really go to are the Under Armour store and the Nike store. And right across the street from that is Bass Pro and tons of restaurants. And also Lamar Dixon Expo Center. They have a lot of big events there. I've been to rodeos and concerts. And every year they have this big, cool hot air balloon festival that brings in a ton of people. Now, when we get into the schools, Ascension Parish is so popular mostly because of the really good public schools. So if you live in Gonzales, chances are your kid is going to go to East Ascension High School, or EA as they call it here. So let's go jump over to niche.com and see how they rate EA High School. So overall, they get an A-. They get a B in academics, A- in teachers, A- in clubs and activities, a B+ in sports, A in diversity, and a B in college prep. They do have AP classes. They offer a gifted program. And as far as the actual rankings go, they're number 7 out of 356 when it comes to most diverse public high schools, 51 out of 335 for best public high schools, and then 63 of 301 for the best college prep of public high schools. And they do have an 89% graduation rate. So East Ascension's not the highest rated public school in Ascension Parish, but they are solid. If schools are the most important thing to you and that's your biggest deciding factor on where you want to live, you may want to look into Dutchtown or Santa Ma, or even Prairieville High School, which is brand new pretty much still, and it's not even on this list yet. Okay, so let's take a look at Gonzales as far as affordability goes. If you do a little digging online, you'll see that the cost of living is significantly lower than the national average. Right now, the average home price is under $300,000. Let me throw this chart up on the screen so I can show you what the data looks like from the past 5 years. So this is Gonzales compared to Baton Rouge. So you can see that the average home price runs pretty similar to Baton Rouge, but it does tend to stay a little bit lower with the occasional spike above. And last month, the average home price in Gonzales was $73,000 less than the average home price in Baton Rouge. Now right now there are 203 active listings in Gonzales, and I'm gonna show you the bottom and the top of the range. So the lowest one is this little foreclosure with 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. And it's listed at $95,000, but it's gonna need a lot of updating and probably a lot of work. Now at the top of the price range, you got this nearly 3,500 square foot new construction home in a golf course community, and it actually sits on the golf course. And it's listed for $989,000. So you can get pretty pricey if you want to, but the majority of the listings that are available are anywhere between the $200,000, $300,000, and $400,000 range. Now there's a lot of new development going on in Gonzales, mainly along Highway 44 south of I-10. We're seeing a lot of new neighborhoods pop up, and that's bringing in a lot of new business. And you've also got some really nice established neighborhoods like Pelican Point. There's a lot of older homes in there, but there's also some new construction being built still. And if you're interested in something like Pelican Point and you're into golf, you can get a membership at the Pelican Point Country Club that includes access to all of their 27 holes of golf and the practice facilities and all of the other amenities that come along with that, like free golf clinics, swimming pools, the tennis courts, and their social events. Now, if you're not into golf, you can get the social membership, and that gets you access to everything but the golf. You get the pools, the tennis courts, the social events, and access to the new sports bar and restaurant. And it gets you charging privileges, and I would love that. I've always wanted to be able to say, put it on my tab. Now, as far as the job market and employments go, most of the people that live in Gonzales are probably gonna be working in Baton Rouge. So again, you gotta consider that commute. But the commute's really not as bad as it used to be. There was a time when Baton Rouge was 3 lanes coming this way, but before you got out of Baton Rouge, it merged to 2 lanes, and that created a huge bottleneck. But now they've 3-laned it all the way down to the Prairieville-Geismar exit. So by the time you get down there and have to merge to 2 lanes, the traffic's not nearly as bad as it was in Baton Rouge. But if you're a plant worker and you work at any of the industrial sector jobs around Gonzales or in that general area, then getting to work is a breeze. There are a lot of different plants in the area, and some of the big ones, BASF, Shell, Honeywell, Air Liquide, Rubicon, and a ton more. So Gonzales is probably a really good option if you work at a place like that. Long before I got into real estate, and actually before I even owned my first house, I lived at some apartments in Gonzales and I worked at Air Liquide. And it's funny, this doesn't pertain to Gonzales, but just the way I got into real estate, I was working at Air Liquide, and that was the best job that I'd ever had. And I had no intentions of being a real estate agent. I thought I was gonna retire from that place. But me and a buddy that I worked with wanted to buy some rental property. So we bought the first one with a real estate agent, and I decided that I didn't like that process. I didn't want to have to call somebody every time I needed comps or every time I wanted to go see a potential property. So I decided that I was gonna get my license. And really just getting that and tinkering around with it, and I found out that I loved that, and I walked away from that job that I love so much to do this full time. So just so you know, I do consider myself a really good real estate agent, but there was a time when I was truck driver / plant worker for a while. So if you're in any of those industries, I can definitely relate. And now to the infrastructure and growth in Gonzales. So there are a ton of ongoing improvements. So along with all these new neighborhoods and new businesses, there's a lot of new road construction. They're putting in a lot of roundabouts. And that's how things tend to go in Louisiana. You get all the new residential developments, you get all the new businesses, and then they try to catch up with the roads. So up and down Highway 44 right now, there's a lot of road construction going on. It's a little slow moving, but once they're done, it's gonna be nice, new, smooth roads, and it's gonna be great. So one of the big new developments going on is on Highway 44 and Highway 30 called Heritage Crossing. So there are some attached single-family homes, some detached single-family homes available, a lot of new restaurants, and then there's also the Price LeBlanc Pace Center. This is a really cool building. It's meant to hold big expos and banquets and indoor concerts and really just any big events. And like I said, there's a ton of new neighborhoods popping up. Just to name a few, there's Heritage Crossing, Village at Conway, Windermere Crossing, Pelican Point, the new construction in there anyway, and plenty more. All right, so I hope that gives you a good idea of what it's actually like to live in Gonzales. And if you need any more information about anything specific, or you just have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to help. And if you have made it this far, I definitely want to hear from you. All my information's on your screen. Just shoot me a text or an email just to get the conversation started, or let me know whatever questions you have. And if you're not from the area and you're looking to get more familiar with it, there's a link in the description for you to sign up to get a copy of my relocation guide for Baton Rouge. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything in the future, and I'll see you on the next video.